All right, welcome to Jack Dotson's Racing Insider News this week. We got a crazy races this weekend.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something. That was some great racing, but it was weird.
It was, and we just learned you're gonna have to change your thing.
Yeah, I'm going to change that.
So then, who is the winner?
Timmy Hill is the winner.
Oh shit! I forgot all about that. That we're gonna have Jason. Now he's the winner.
Timmy Hill.
That'll be his first win.
Timmy Hill's going to get the win, and after they knocked him out of it, so.
Dang.
I know there's some sad people in Spartanburg, South Carolina today.
Could you imagine? I bet they won't play in that intake no more. Or maybe they will. Because I mean, what's the chances they were going to win anyway?
I know.
You know what I mean? So they probably weren't going to get caught. But I got to give a shout out to Dave Millard. I know he's probably watching. I was told that he watches every week, and he picked on somebody the other day. This person was telling me. He said I went over to him and he's like, D's, sometimes struggles getting it out to begin with. And he's like, D's what? What are you talking about? He's like, D's nuts. Dave, I'm glad you're still Dave, and I love you, buddy.
That's really cool. That's cool.
So,
all right, let's go on.
That'll be funny. Got to think. Pump the brakes, Jack. You weren't this fast in the dirt.
What he laughing about?
I'm just happy to be. Slinger graphics and shirts and Speed Company. Everything they do is fast, I'm assuming. Mayhem Management.
Got a big announcement coming up this week on Mayhem Management. Don't know what the deal is. Haven't heard yet. She won't tell me.
She won't tell you?
No.
I thought y'all was tight.
Well, I was thinking that too until this week.
You ain't shit then, huh?
No, well, evidently because my graphic designer didn't graphic design nothing.
She's busy. Got to thank Papa John's for providing dinner tonight. So if you want something to eat, I eat during the show because I'm hungry. Got to thank Smith Wraps and Graphics for sponsoring the show. NC811, you want to call before you dig. GAC, Great American Company. G, as we call him. What?
Guillermo Amaya.
Yeah, that's his name. I ain't even going to try to murder that. Bondage Brother Distillery. One day we'll get to do them shots, Roger. One day. Pepsi, Mountain Dew. Got to thank Langley Speedway for allowing us to do the show from here. Got to thank Chuck, Bill, Vaughn. And man, what about those lights this weekend? I'm sure we'll talk about that. Factory canopies. If you need a cover for your car, 10x20 tent for the car, those are the guys.
I'm gonna tell you something. Todd Davis stays on the go now. He got the Winnebago thing.
I'm telling you, he's everywhere.
Never stay home no more.
No, he's living a life. Black Acid Apparel. If you need a shirt, 10 shirts, 50 shirts. Tanya McAllister, NPM Marketing, to help you with some social media stuff. She's involved with Speed, or I was going to say Speed 51, but it ain't Speed 51.
No, it's Race 22.
Yeah, Race 22.
Race 22 and the car store. She's involved with both of those.
So pretty cool. Safety Clean and Performance Plus Motor Oil, which Jack he gets nothing.
I get nothing from them.
I put in an order today and got my good discount. Thank those guys very much.
I put in my order and got nothing like I normally do.
I give you a hat.
Okay, you gave me a hat. They give you what?
Thousands of dollars.
For a product. I get a freaking hat. And I asked him one time.
Hey, when there's a list.
He had a spray cleaner one time, right? He had it out there. We were somewhere, and I saw it. I said, "Man, I need some of that." He said, "Here, have that. I get plenty of it." And that's all I get. I mean,
you got a hat and some cleaner.
Hey, that's why he's so clean today, because that shit works good.
Got a new dude, got his ears lowered at the same.
Yeah, that's what it is. All right, let's talk about some news this week. I mean, there's news everywhere. Austin Dillon got the win in the Cup race. Now that was, that wasn't too bad.
I'm surprised they went back to green on that one. I mean, I think because it was a playoff, so I could understand them wanting to do it.
But the thing that bothers me the most is when they dove off into that turn and all that rain was there. Come on now. You should have said right there, that's it. We're done. But
I don't know. They got it to the end.
I just thought it was because Austin Dillon was in front and they didn't want him to win. I don't know. I mean, it went on for a while there. I mean, you have a 2-hour rain delay in the middle of the race.
Well, I had forgotten about Kurt. I was like, man, I thought there was 15, so there's only one spot. How we got 2 spots? But I forgot Kurt took himself out of it.
Pulled out of it.
So we ended up with 16 winners. I mean, we did, even though Kurt's not, going forward into the playoffs. But we got 16 winners this year. That's what matched all-time high, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, should have been
16 different winners. Yeah. So
that's pretty good.
And then we still got a few, and what's his name, Eric Jones. I mean, he's run well at times. I wouldn't have been surprised to see him win. That would have been cool to see, and so we could possibly see maybe 1 or 2 more.
But think about the top 10. Here's 4 guys that were in the top 10 that you never see in the top 10.
Jack Dodson,
Landon Castle, Cody Ware, B.J. McLeod, and David Reagan. Even though Reagan has won a race before, but here in the last
he's part-time.
Yeah, and 2 Rick Ware cars
in
the top.
That's a big deal for the
top 10. So we're going to talk to Jason about that later on, about how much it means, because now it even means more to Jason and them. I'm not sure.
Well, even though he's not over at Rick Ware right now.
No, but I'm saying when his win, if that win stands, does it put him in the playoffs?
I wonder when he got the news that he won the race now.
Well, evidently it happened today, from what I understand.
Yeah, but they get that news a little bit before it gets released.
Well, they may have, but I didn't. He didn't bother to call me until I was halfway here, and he sent me a message and said, "Timmy's got some other issues he's got to take care of first." So,
but he didn't say anything about.
No, he didn't tell me about no shows and all this other stuff. But anyway,
but he didn't know about the win yet. Then
he didn't say anything about it. In the Xfinity race, well, I can't say Jeremy Clements won anymore because but his team lost a whole lot more than a playoff position and a win. They lost 75 extra points. The crew chief got fined $60,000.
For a small team like they are, that's a big
That's going to hurt. That's going to hurt them big, and they will not be able. They're not eligible to get into the playoffs now.
Does that put Timmy in?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know where Timmy falls as far as the points. You have to be in the top in the Xfinity series. You got to be in the top 20, 25.
Okay.
You got to be in the top 25 to get in. So I'm not really sure, but we'll check with Jason tonight and find out.
Breaking news.
Yeah. So that's a pretty big deal. The ARCA race this past weekend was at Milwaukee. Sammy Smith got the win. Back to the Xfinity race. How about this top 10 over there? Now Timmy Hill looks like have the win. Brandon Brown will end up 3rd. Sage Karam will be 4th. The Vargas kid, Ryan Vargas, we had him on not too long ago. Ryan Vargas will move up to 5th. Alex LeBay will be 7th. Yaley will be 8th. Kyle Sieg will be 9th. And Jesse Owuji will be in the top 10.
Wow.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
There's people there that they see the front cars as they go by them, but these guys were up front in the race. I mean, that's unbelievable. It's almost unbelievable as Roger Bell win the race down at Dixieland. Anyway, down at Kingsport this past weekend, Chris Van Dyke got win number 10 for the season. His second car, driven by Jaden Rayna, got 2nd place this past weekend, and that was one of his 3rd race at Kingsport. And he's going to be on our show next week. The Rayna kid's going to be with us. He's originally from Yorktown. Alex Keith finished 6th. That's another Chris Van Dyke race car. So he's going to be with us. In the Mod 4s at Kingsport, Kevin Canner got win number 102 in his career this past weekend. But we also want to send out our thoughts and prayers to his grandfather. I don't know if anybody saw it, but a wheel came off one of those Sportsman cars at Kingsport and went down pit road. It jumped the fence, went down pit road, and hit Kevin Canner's grandfather. He's got 2 broken bones and all in. He was in bad shape. They had to get him out of the racetrack. They had to stop everything and get him out of the racetrack. So
damn. I didn't know the old man that stood in turn 2. I mean, he'd been there forever. Didn't a tire hit him one night?
I think so.
Dude. I think yeah, dude. Yeah, didn't it bounce up and hit him? And I don't ever remember how bad it was. I don't know.
It's like years ago, tire come off and he run up behind it and tried to grab it while it was still rolling.
Oh God,
he looked like Superman.
But I mean, that was from what I hear. You know, he didn't even see it coming. He was working on the car and didn't even see it, and it hit him. So I don't know why nobody hollered and said, "Hey, look, here comes the tire," but nobody did. Well, maybe they did. He didn't hear it. I don't know. I ain't gonna say. At Motor Mile this past weekend, the Cars Tour was at Motor Mile. In the Pro Late Models, William Sawalich got the win. In the Late Model Stock Cars, Deke McCaskill got the win. At the Oxford 250 this past weekend, Cole Butcher got the win. Down at Hickory Motor Speedway, they had 2 late model races. Ryan Millington won the first one. Landon Huffman won the second one. The limited late models, Charlie Watson won. At Caraway, Blaze Brinkley got the late model win. At Orange County, Jason Barnes got the late model win. Now, when you talk about Dominion Speedway, Peyton Sellers won both races. That's not unusual, is it? See Peyton Sellers win. The limited late model Virginia racer, Alex Brock, got another win. The Legends, Charlie Beals. The Bandos, Brian Runstrom Jr. And in the Dominion stocks, Dan Rogers got the first win and Todd Ruggles got the second win. Down at up at Virginia Motor Speedway this past weekend, the pro late model race was won by Logan Robertson, and Austin Hubbard became the champion. So he is the champion of the division. In the Sportsman division, Davis Lipscomb got the win, and the champion is Tim Shelton. In the modifieds, Joey Polvoy, or however you say his name, got the win, and the champion is Chase Butler. Down at Dixieland Speedway, Friday night, in the Budweiser All-Stars, race number 1, Brendan Queen got the win. Race number 2, Tom Wilson got the win. In the Super Stocks, Kevin Bray. Stock 4s with Justin Bone. Super 4s, Ron Winterburn got the win, and Ricky Waters finished second. I can't believe Ron Winterburn is still racing. I mean, I raced against him years ago.
God dang.
Really?
Yes. I raced. What the hell you talking? But no, I mean, I raced him at Dixieland when I raced down there a couple times when the big races they had down there used to have those big
Come in, right.
But he came to Southampton and raced over there.
He beat you too?
Raced it. He raced at Brinkleyville when they was racing down there. So I mean, he's been all over the place, and I still didn't know he was racing. And
He just came back maybe last year.
But he had moved up to another division at one point.
Sportsman.
Yeah. And Ricky Waters, I think he's been around forever too. So that's two guys I raced against, and I don't want no comments from anybody on the other side of this table right now. All right, at Langley Speedway this past weekend, the NASCAR Modifieds were here, and Doug Kobe got the win.
He put a clinic on.
Oh, I heard he's pretty good. That's in the Tommy Baldwin car.
Yeah.
In the Pro 6, Travis Wall won again, and Riley Music finished second in the 71.
Oh, yeah, I got a phone call on Wednesday from Riley. He called me at work and said, hey, I was practicing a 71 car today. You running this weekend? I want to beat you. I said, no, bitch, I'm not. There's a reason why we call him the little shit.
Hello, Aaron Goodman. I've been wanting to talk to you anyway. My graphic designer, Aaron Goodman. But anyway.
Oh, don't worry, Aaron. You're on the shit list.
In the trucks here at Langley Speedway this past weekend, Chris Roberts got the win. And in the Super Street or Super Stock or whatever they call it, Jimmy Atkins got the win. And one other note to pass on, Eric Amarola has made it official. He will be back next year. So
I know, what is what have you heard on that? The sponsor was leaving if he didn't run again?
the sponsor was not coming back if he did not.
So they talked him into staying?
The sponsors went to Stuart Haas, from what I understand, and said, he races or I don't. Or we don't. We're not going to be back. So, when you start talking money, all of a sudden he's back in the car and his kids, he said he was going to need more time to be with his kids. I guess his kids ain't going to need no time to be with him.
Well, it's like everything else. It's when money talks.
Yeah.
I'm sure he got probably a little pay raise. So I'm curious, out of that ordeal, then it sounds like to me that Stuart Haas wanted to sort of move on and maybe had something else going on, but that has not come to fruition. So therefore, you would like to keep you around. That's what it sounds like.
Well, everybody will be there. They're all still under contract, aren't they?
Yeah, everybody else is. Yeah.
At least one more year.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, we have another announcement we need to make while we're here. Ricky Smoot's going to be back in the vehicle, back in the modified this week. I understand he made parole this past week, and I understand there's going to be a drug test before the race, after the race, and while he's walking around the pit area. So anyway, all right, let's get to Craig Eastep, and I tell you what, this is a man that I
should call him Iron Man. Well, stuff we were talking about earlier.
I was so glad when I walked down pit road when you came back that week, and I walked down pit road and saw you down there. I said, "Man, this is really cool." Because if anybody could do it, you could do it. So I'm proud you're back, and we're happy you're back.
I'm glad to be back, and feel great. Hampton Heat was kind of maybe not the right race to come back to, but we made the best out of it. And had a lot of guys we were racing with talk to me before the race. I said, "Look, man, we're gonna fall to the back. Just ride with us." So I rode with Brendan Pierce for a while, and then I got behind Peyton Sellers and probably rode 50, 60 laps behind him. Problem was everybody rode so much. When it come time to go, everybody had good tires.
Right.
So it was kind of interesting race.
Is that hard to slow the pace? Because the pace was pretty slow.
It's harder to do that than it is to go fast.
Right.
Because you're wanting to go, but you're so close and so tense. Trying not to run over the car in front of you and keep that pace and not spin the tires, and stuff. So, and it was pretty intense doing that.
Yeah, I think some people. Yeah, but I think a lot of people that don't get behind the wheel don't realize it's harder to drive slow than it is to drive at speed.
Yeah, it was definitely, and the spotter saying outside. I mean, it was like every lap there's somebody on the outside, so you're just turning. It's like you had to be super careful. Of course you didn't want to tear your car up, but you have to save. But I like the 4-tire deal, making it like that. I think it put a lot of strategy in it. I think if they do it again next year, I think you'll see a difference. I think more people will try to race to the front than sit in the back.
We get up front and
the cautions didn't give them time to really go,
and
the ones who were back there couldn't go. So I think it may change the strategy on it.
I mean, I think it was good racing so far as the fans concerned. So I'm curious if they'll stick with the 4 tires next year.
Yeah, the fans don't know how fast you're going.
No,
they just want to see the cars together and racing,
and
that's what was going on.
And it was some good racing, but how is it a feel you have that well, it's time to go now. I got my tires under me. I'm ready to go.
I guess about lap 70, we're running like 30 up from my brother told me on the radio, he says, man, you need to go. And I passed like 6 cars and I didn't even try. And I'm up there and then I was like, well, I need to slow down. So I just slowed down, let everybody come back to us. I could run the next pack down, but it was just too early to go. We didn't know how the tires were going to do and how they're going to last. And, I mean, you see it on regular Saturday night. You still got to manage tires out here.
No matter what it is, you still got to
Yeah.
manage the tires.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
We're running like 18.5s, 18.7s.
Right. Yeah. I thought. Yeah. I thought, yeah. It was close to 19s is what I was hearing.
Yeah. It was crazy.
So that was, I mean, that's good that you're learning this as you're getting ready for. I mean, you like you said earlier, you're behind a little bit because you were out so much, but you're learning how to deal with this now, and you'll be ready to go next year.
Yeah. And well, Brendan was the first one this year to fall back and save tires, and
Yeah,
he
that almost did it though. That almost did it.
Yeah, it did. And but yeah. Well, we're a little behind on everybody because we missed so many races. We did run opening night. I wasn't 100%, but I was determined to run opening night. Then went through all the procedures and everything I went through to come back. And when I came back, I mean, I felt good, but I still didn't have the strength and stuff that I got now. So it's like every week I see myself getting better and better and better, and things I can do.
What's been your driving factor? I mean, we were talking a little bit earlier of how driven you've been to beat cancer, and is it the racing has been like, I want to get back in and do it again, or is that just part of your personality?
It was Dr. Fleming. When I went in to see him, he was a doctor treating me with the chemo, and we sat down in the office, and he told me, he says, first he examined me and talked to me, and he said, yes, I will treat you because the type of chemo that I took, very few people can do it. And he said, I feel like you're strong enough. He says, you're going to have to fight. He said, but we can beat this. And I said, and he goes, well, I want to ask you, why are you doing this? And I said, my family, my friends, stuff. He goes, man, they'll be there till the day you die. He said, you got to do this for yourself. And then he told me a story about him hurting his shoulder, and he plays golf. And he goes, I couldn't swing a golf club for about 2 years. So I went through all these. So I had surgery and I went through and everything. Now I can play golf again. That was my drive, was to get back out there and swing that golf club. He said, what do? You have a hobby? And I said, yeah, I race cars. He said, over at Langley. And he goes, okay, so that's our goal. You're going to race again.
Well, that's cool.
And I'm like, all right. So we got into it. So as we started going through the chemo, he goes, opening nights, April the 9th. And he goes, you're going to finish your last treatment March the 8th. So that gives you 1 month. And I'm like, man, I don't know. This is pretty bad. All my hair's falling out, and everything. And went through it and all. But that was a goal that I set to be able to go through the treatments and think about it. But I wasn't able to go down and work on the car like I wanted to and stuff. I relied on my crew to do it, which they did a great job. And we come out and ran. And then I wanted to race more, but I knew that I would have to go through the surgery part of it. Then that was a recovery of 10 weeks. The doctor told me he didn't want me competing for 10 weeks. I could get back in the car after 8 weeks of practice. So we were planning on running the first race in June, but it rained out. So then the Hampton Heat would be our first race back. But now, I mean, I feel better than I did last year at this time. I have my energy levels better. I feel better, and I don't sleep that much. I mean, I get up early in the morning, boom, I'm gone doing stuff, and it just changed my life a lot.
When did you find out you had cancer? So when was that date? I'm sure I
started feeling bad during the summer last year, and then around October, it really got bad, and with the problems I was having. I went to a Med Express and they treated me with antibiotic, and that didn't fix it. And then I started passing blood, and then they said, you need to see a specialist. And my girlfriend, fortunately, she was able to get me in to see somebody. Went in to see them, and they examined me on a Thursday, did a CT scan on Monday, scoped me on Friday and wanted to do surgery on Tuesday.
Yeah.
That quick.
Yeah, things happen fast.
But they couldn't because I needed to see a cardiologist. And saw the cardiologist. And then on the 14th of December, I went in and they removed a portion of the tumor out of my bladder, which was bigger than half a Coke can.
Wow.
And that was just a portion of it. And then they, the doctor did that was Dr. Harkey. And he told me that I would now have to go through a different procedure because it had penetrated the walls of my bladder. And so he recommended see Dr. Fleming. And he said the only thing they could do now is kill it with the chemo. And then from there, I would go to another doctor, which was Dr. Williams, who would perform the surgery. And like I said, he gave me options. I told him to do what he felt was best. And so he did. They removed, I lost bladder, prostate, 75 lymph nodes, and they shaved my pelvis bone. And I was only 15 weeks from surgery to the Hampton Heat to get back.
Wow.
You know, the love of racing got you back out here. That's what got you back out here. So it's not, you know, you had that. It's hard to believe that a doctor would say, all right, we're going to do this because that's what you want to do. We're going to get you back out there.
Yeah.
And it's hard to believe that a doctor, after all you've been through.
You know, it was kind of funny when I went to meet Dr. Williams for the first time. Went in his office, and the first thing he says, "Man, I heard you race cars." I'm like, he goes, "Yeah, Dr. Fleming told me," and we got talking about it. And so they explained how everything's going to happen, you know, with surgery. And he goes, "But we're going to do something different." I said, "What?" He goes, "I know your belts come down." He said, "We're going to move your port over so your belts don't hit it." And I'm thinking to myself, have you ever done this before? And then he goes, and he told me, he says, "Oh, you'll be fine." He said, took a Sharpie and where my belts went and drew them down, drew a line the day before surgery. I went in there with a Sharpie mark on my stomach, and he put the port in that V area, and I'm good to go.
That's wild. I mean, that's really, I mean, it's good that it happened, but, you know,
Well,
he got you back in the car, but.
He asked me to they got a convention going on with doctors that do this kind of surgery and stuff, and he asked me to attend it with him. He said because of what he did to allow me to be able to do this again, he feels like it's, you know, it's something to talk about.
Sure.
You know, because a lot of people, he said the average person goes in there, they really don't have something like racing or something to do.
Right.
You know, but it does give people a thing they can look and say, hey, you know, I can move this and this guy can still do this.
And it's a good thing, too, that, you know, the doctor looks at it and he knows this is the thing that's going to probably make him recuperate faster, give him an edge and everything to get him going. And that's really cool that a doctor would do that, because there's some doctors that say, well,
right,
you're done. You're done racing.
Yeah. Well, I'm 61 now, so actually, he said I'm young for somebody to have this type of stuff going on. He said there is younger people that have it, but mostly people are older. Getting what they do and everything is just, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it really is. And I mean, it saved my life. I mean, because I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for the treatments and everything I went through. And
so where are we at today? We're cancer-free?
I'm cancer-free, 100%. The doctor, when I left the hospital after the surgery, he come in the room the day and told me, with the procedure I had, they give me basically on a national level, it's 30% survival rate, that you'll survive and still be alive in 5 years. When I went in, he said, look, I'm going to take you off of that national level thing. He said, I'm going to say that you've got an 85% chance that you will not die from cancer in the next 5 years, which was very high. I worked hard to get back to where I am. Went in to see my doctor 2 weeks ago on a Wednesday, and he was on an every 3 month schedule to see me. And I went in to see him, and he examined me. He says, man, I don't need to see you for another 6 months. He said, you're just way advanced further than I thought you would be.
But it had to feel super good when he said, I'm going to take you off of this, you know, 30% or whatever that number was and put you in the 85%.
Oh yeah,
top.
that was like.
I mean, I can't imagine that emotions going through.
Yeah, because I was less than 5% chance of even surviving this in November. That I would actually live, that I could beat it, and that was Dr. Harkey telling me, the type of cancer that I had and what it was doing, and also. I just listen to the doctors. I usually don't listen to many people. I listen to them.
Well, yeah, you better listen to them.
I'm sure a lot of people was probably surprised that you listened to anybody, Craig.
Dr. Fleming said, he goes, yeah, it says, if you'll stay on schedule, I said, let me tell you, you tell me when I got to be here, and I'll come through that door smiling every time. And that's what he told me. He said, every time I passed you were smiling. He said, you were right.
So what was the toughest moment?
I think the chemo stuff was pretty tough. As far as the surgery, really wasn't bad. I was just sore. But the chemo, it was every other week, and I had 23 IV bags in 3 days. And I would take, and then it was killing everything in my body, all my cells. So it was killing bone marrow and stuff. So they were giving me these boxes on my arm that would inject stuff for 24 hours that would make your bone marrow grow back. And it would you hurt so bad from it. Think you have muscle spasms and everything else. I think the last time when I came up did the show, I had that box on my arm.
Yeah.
And so it was really interesting, all the stuff that they have to do. But they basically, to kill that, they have to kill everything: red blood cells, white blood cells, bone marrow, everything. But they give you treatments to bring this stuff back. And I'm not a big doctor type person or medical thing, but let me tell you what, I listened to them and I learned a lot. And I actually had a friend that's over in Virginia Beach, and he knew what happened to me, and he started having some problems, and he went in and he has a small tumor in his bladder, and they're getting ready to remove it. But his isn't penetrating the wall, they go clean it. So he was like, man, I'm sure glad you told me all this stuff.
Right.
Everybody's nervous now.
No, well, I think.
I gotta ask, has it been overwhelming? The support that you've gotten, I mean, from the racetrack to I'm sure friends, and you don't realize how many people you've touched or think of you that much until you're in one of these scenarios,
Yeah, I was saying my daughter was trying to keep up with stuff. A lot of times I didn't feel like messaging, but
sure,
in a day's time when I was really sick and playing there, I'd get 100, 150 messages on Facebook or Messenger, and I was like trying to answer back to people, and stuff. They were just constantly messaging me and checking on me and how I was doing. Wayne Wyatt would come by and visit me, and then he would keep people alerted up. We would stay in touch with Chuck and stuff at racetracks so that they could let people know and everything, because it's kind of hard to keep up with everybody. And
for sure,
I didn't realize that many people cared about me.
Well, so you didn't have to worry about it. Everybody was taking care of you. They're making sure you were going good.
Oh yeah, a lot of support, lots of support. And I don't see how somebody could do something like that without the support.
You can't do it without support.
And I mean, I'm up there in the recovery area, and get up, and the girls are helping me walk down the hall with a walker, and I'm looking in these rooms, and these people are in there by themselves. I was in Norfolk General for 8 days, and my daughter, my girlfriend Dana, one of those were with me all the time. I was never alone in that room, never.
Yeah, I went through heart surgery not too long ago, and if you don't have somebody there with you and staying with you and keeping, they keep your emotions going and everything. Yeah. I was grateful that I had my daughter and my son-in-law and my wife there every minute. They were, it was really great to have their support and everything. So makes it good that you had that support. And I tell you what, I'm so glad to see you're doing well and everything is good. And
it just feels good to be back. Like you said, I do love, I love the sport racing, and made a lot of friends. We've known each other for a long time.
Ever since I first come back, or when I come here, I was 16 in Help area, you were here. Yeah,
and like I said, I like seeing the young ones coming up. Raleigh Music and Cody, Brian.
These two kids are the future coming.
Yeah, they are. They're the future of the racetrack.
And they're doing a great job. And they're good kids.
They're good kids. They race hard with each other. Have a lot of fun joking with them and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You got all these kids coming up and seeing what they're going to do, and you get to race against them, and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you being here tonight.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you for coming out and giving us an
Thanks.
update on you. I saw you down in the pit that day when I was walking through there. I said, I'm going to get him back on
Is
the
that
show.
before you passed out, or?
Oh, Lord. That wasn't even the same week. That wasn't even the same week. And you had to bring that up, didn't you?
You passed out?
I mean, that's how you do it. I won't go
You,
bring it up.
you haven't heard about that?
But I did want to I heard.
I mean, I had my phone was blowing up.
Did you
I was-
pass out or faint?
Well, what's the difference?
All I know is I hit the ground. But yeah, I went down for the count.
I've heard stories. I wouldn't know how you do it. You look great, but
We're glad you're doing all
Well, it was my own fault.
it was hot that day.
It was hot that day. I didn't drink anything. I was walking up and down pit road. Everybody was saying, "Hey, what's the water? What's the water?" I said, "Nah, I ain't gonna get it. I'm gonna go up in the booth and get me something up there." I never made it to the booth.
He made it to the ambulance.
I made it to the ambulance. When they put me in the ambulance, and they turned the air conditioning on and gave me some water in the ambulance, and I came back to life. And I said, "I'm leaving. I'm going home." And they told me, "No, you're not going home because we're not going to let you drive home." Well, I said, "Oh yeah, I'm going home, and I'm driving home." And I did. And I made it home. So yeah, it was my own fault. So I can't
I
take
heard
blame.
stories. People like, Jack, what happened? That sounds like, oh Lord.
I know. I called him. I said, "What?" I didn't expect him to answer the phone. He said, "I'm in the car. I'm going home." I said, "Are you all right?" "How the hell do you know?"
That's right.
Because my phone was blowing up.
Well, Craig, we appreciate
Yeah,
it, man.
man.
Thanks a lot.
Thank
And
you.
come back and see us anytime.
I will.
Man, we'd love to have you around. And
Hopefully we get running a little better.
we're gonna hang in there with you. Get you back. We're gonna get you back out there. We want to see you go to Victory Lane one time.
All right. Thanks, Greg.
Yes, sir.
All right, come on over here, Roger. You need to come around.
Come around. Yeah, y'all done switched up spots on me.
Well, I'm not gonna
you
give.
know,
I'm
like
not
do
gonna
things
give.
backwards.
I'm not going to give Justin Kern any props on any of this, okay? But he came up with a good idea, and I'm not going to
The
say
one good idea.
the one time he said something worth listening to turned out pretty good.
Last time I had a huge brace on when I was here, so hopefully
Oh, yeah, I was thinking about it. You walking good.
Well, I don't know
We got a
good,
bunch
but
of sick people around here. You know, I'm passing out. And, woo. Scott's got bad feet. So anyway, you know how it is.
got to suck it in.
All right, well, here is the man. Dixieland
The dirt
Speedway
man.
got
The
him
dirt diver.
got him a Sportsman win this couple weeks ago.
Some guys.
So how's it going? I mean, how's everything going other than that?
It's going good. I'm sitting between you two guys, so like I say, I feel like
Nobody's
I'm
ever
moving on
said
up.
that.
Got to meet Kraus, known him, and since I was a young kid, he's been doing it along. He's like the Iron Man, that's for sure. So to shake his hand and meet him, it's a big deal to me. It really is. So brought y'all some gifts. I don't know who's got the bigger head.
Come on,
do.
now.
I do.
Come on.
I got hair on my head.
One is courtesy of Moody's water conditioning. That's an extra large. They both fit, so
Thank you,
they're
sir.
pretty good.
Thanks, man.
That's a big. That's awful nice of you.
Yes, wanted to do something. Brought y'all some shirts too, courtesy of Moody's. And again, one is a little bit smaller than the other.
Well,
But I
we
didn't
know where
want to
that
say-
belongs.
I didn't want to say anything, so
You
that
might as
one is-
well. The small one.
that is the smaller one. That is,
How-
but you look good. You
does-
look like you slimmed
That
down.
does it have a big enough hole to get it over his head?
No,
That's the next.
that I don't know. I think you might need to swap maybe. So, and then y'all heard of these 811 folks before, I guess.
Somebody
Haven't you?
said something about that. Yeah, I
You
heard.
know, I think they're pretty popular, NC 811. So, anyway, they're
Even-
the same. So,
Is Brian Morehouse still with them?
He is still with him. He's around.
Okay, I don't see.
I seen him. He was here for the tour.
All right.
I was
Yeah.
I was walking out, coming up here to watch the race, and I talked to him for a minute.
So there you guys
Oh,
go.
thank you.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. We
And,
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, like I say, an honor to be here. Really, truly
Well,
it is. It's y'all let a little dirt dauber.
Wait, no,
Come
wait a
up
minute. Who's the head of the mafia? Because man,
yeah, that's a good question.
The
When did
mafia.
you become part of the mafia?
because I'm gonna tell you
Wait a minute, y'all got me on that one. What are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about.
when it came up driver of the week the other week. I mean, it was Roger Bell. I think there was 3 other votes. Roger Bell.
Well, I can go back and give you the votes. I can go back.
Well, I'll
It
be
was a-
honest
it
with
was
you.
a
When I
landslide.
saw, I'll be honest, Greg Edwards, Tommy Jackson, and some other folks, I was like, well,
Oh yeah.
I don't have a chance against those guys. I mean, I'll be honest, dude. Those guys are huge. Really?
And that's the next one.
Holy cow. I had no idea.
So usually when that happens, the mafia is tied to it.
Hey, we all eat pizza and the Italians are like tight.
So I'm thinking the mafia done got in with you now.
They were, man. They saw that I was on the Jack Dodson show, and they must have figured I had ties somewhere. They're trying to, I don't know. Nobody's laundering money or anything. Not through me, anyway. But I'll
But
take some. But
But do you know the mafia? Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from your win and being
No.
the driver of the
No.
week or anything. I'm not taking any of that away. But I'll tell you what, the driver of the week in the mafia, when the mafia gets behind somebody, you could finish 4 laps down and still become driver of the week. Scott Allen was a
Scott
driver.
Allen, see, when there's you got him, he's with you.
But now I had to go back and change that. So
Yeah,
now
but
he can't win. He can't win it
He
anymore.
can't win it anymore.
No.
Well, I didn't feel. I mean, we won, and some people said some stuff, and I said, well, we can try, but I figured. I mean, most of the time, drivers of the week they usually have won that week. Usually, not all the time, but for my thing, and we run good, but I was really nervous about not getting the opportunity to have a chance for driver of the week. I was really, because it's getting down to 2 more races now, but.
So was this your car or is this?
No, this is not my car. This is
Okay.
a gentleman. He's a good guy, George O'Neill. I don't know. Harry used to help a guy named Harry. What's Harry's last name? Years ago, he used to run VMS and saluted in mid-May in Southampton. They had a car and we were just supposed to shake it down, really, because the son's supposed to drive, but the son got hurt and couldn't really drive because he's still on medical or whatever. And so we were going to shake it down, and we ran okay, 4th, 3rd, maybe 4th, 5th, something like that. And if it wasn't for them, I'd probably be sitting on the sidelines. I mean, we would have gotten in something eventually, but I was able to transfer everything over to them, and people have stepped up, and like I say, with NCAA with one,
But you know, there's a Pro 6 open.
is it?
Mm-hmm.
I tried to fit in one of those Pro 6. That's a joke for me to try and fit in that little matchbox
You
thing.
gotta put a door on the side.
Yes, yeah, we definitely would need a foldable door, retractable door.
It's a little
Well,
tight.
It's not real pretty with like red and white banners and stuff on
You
it.
remember Don Satterfield? He raced out here. He came out here and raced
Sounds
a few
familiar.
times. Anyway, he was a right big fellow too. And they cut his door down low so he could get in the car. So that, you know, if he had an extra, I mean, it was.
Well, I know we talked about it, but I always would go back to like Rooster Charles was a
a
big gentleman, and he had his Camaro, and that door was cut way down. But
And do you know he never needed any weight on the left hand side?
Wouldn't have needed none.
Yeah.
And he could wheel.
And
And
It's so funny you mentioned him. I saw him today.
really,
Yeah, and he was in Newsome's, and I was leaving Newsome's, and he was out on the side of the road working in his yard, and I saw him. But now that was kind of weird how you mentioned that.
and there he is out in Newsome's, man. They're way out in the country. That's
Yeah.
God's country.
Yeah, it is.
It's pretty out.
Anyway, Roger Bell
Man, I'm
gets another the Roger Bell. We're gonna name it the Roger Bell Award.
Mafia Award.
You know, that's a good point. I ought to go back and train Mafia Driver of the Week.
It's a big deal, and everybody that supports it, and to get up here. I mean, like I say, I love coming up here and kind of coming with y'all and talking racing. I've always got to meet some really cool people, some folks I've never really had a chance to shake their hand. So to me, it's a very big deal. And I didn't realize, we had that. Sometimes you forget how powerful social media is and how many people read stuff. And
oh yeah,
you post something, you don't think about it, and then all these people are getting messages and to come. I can't relate. I always try to keep in perspective. I did have a pretty serious knee injury, but when you're dealing with life and death type stuff,
like Craig.
But what is it about this racing that you hate it sometimes because it can be so frustrating, but you love it. When you can't do it, you miss it. And what is it about this racing stuff?
It's almost like having a wife, ain't it?
That are an expensive problem. But
so have you had the wife and the expensive problem?
I've had the wife. I don't have that anymore. Lord knows we probably all had problems of different sorts, but
for sure.
Without getting too much. But.
All right, you hang with us for a while, right?
Absolutely.
All right, let's get Derek Kraus. Jason, we'll be with you in a minute. We got Derek Kraus on here first. We'll get Derek on here.
What's up, Derek? How you doing, man?
Good. How about yourself?
We're doing great, man, and thank you for being on the show tonight, man. It's a big deal to have you on, and I'm gonna tell you what, you have a fantastic car owner, and Bill McAnally. All I have to do is call Bill, and he said, "I got you. I got it. I'm taking care of it." So I'm just want to put that out there.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely one of a kind.
You ain't kidding. But he's a good one of a kind. I'll have to give him that.
Yeah.
So how's everything going with you this year? I mean, I know you didn't quite get in the playoffs, but tell us a little bit how everything went.
Yeah. I mean, overall, it's been a pretty good year so far. We've been able to get a couple top tens, and just having strong runs and strong finishes is the main thing. It's been a lot of fun. I've been able to learn a lot and just keep moving forward throughout the year. Our next race is at Kansas, and that's a track that we've been to already this year, so that's always really good. And to be able to go back to another track and be able to take what we learned from the last race and put it forward to this one.
Now, Bill he's got a second truck, correct?
Yep.
Yep. Colby Howard driving that.
Yep.
Truck. How has that helped you out to have another driver there with McAnally on the McAnally?
It's definitely been a good thing. I feel like just because with teammates you have another person that you can bounce ideas off of and get ideas from, and being able to have a teammate, you have that opportunity to get help or be able to get another idea from them. So it's definitely been a good thing to have another teammate or to have a teammate in general. I mean, this is the first year that I've had a teammate in the truck series. So it's definitely really cool to have one, and Kobe's been a good one.
So are you guys still working out of North Carolina? You're still over there, right?
Yeah, this year since we moved to Chevy, we are in the same place as GMS. So we're up on top of the hill, and then the GMS Fab Shop, and then also the Truck and Cup Shop is also down there. So being able to work with them is also a big step up in our game, and it's definitely made a lot of improvements.
Now, Bill gives you all everything you need to be successful. So I know that's a big help to you. But what kind of car owner is he? How much involvement does he have with you guys? Is what I guess I'm saying.
He's one of the more involved ones for sure. I mean, he's always asking me what he can do better, what needs to be better, and I feel like that's really good to have as a team owner with how involved he is, because then he's got a say on everything, and he always wants to keep his hand on it and his thumb on it, which is definitely a good thing. And he's definitely taught me a lot from how to treat sponsors well with being with Napa for over 30 years. It's definitely been able to help me communicate and be better with sponsors, with my own personal sponsors, and also Napa as well, with being able to, like, last month I was in Las Vegas at the Napa convention, and just being able to watch him and learn and see how he treats everyone has definitely helped me personally too.
Now I got a semi-serious question. You said you were in Vegas for the Napa convention.
I'm 20.
Did you ever see him run around? He may have been with the police officers or something. I don't know. Did you see him there?
I'm not. You guys are really small on my screen. I don't even know.
Yeah, well, I
Probably.
own a auto care, so I was there.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want you to tell some stories. If you saw him walking around with, he may have been in handcuffs or something. I don't know.
No, I wasn't one of those guys walking up down the street talking to some of them other females at night. If you walk the streets at night, it's pretty entertaining out there.
Well, Derek,
Yeah.
who's your crew chief this year?
That's what I was saying.
It's Charles Denike. He came. Well, at first it was Shane Wilson, and then we made a change halfway through the season to Charles, and we've been learning together and trying to. It's all about relationships, so that's what we've been trying to build, and I feel like we've been able to build that pretty well just with the few amount of races that we've been together, and we just got to keep building and keep doing better and better as we can together.
Well, good. Now you do a lot of other racing in like super late models or whatever. You do a lot of other racing. What other racing you got going on this year?
I have a family car back at home that my dad is always working on, and whenever I've got an off weekend, I'll go home and race it. Like this weekend, we're gonna go home and we're gonna run that up in Slinger, Wisconsin, and it's just something to get away, and there's no pressure doing it at all. You just go there and have fun, and it's always really cool to be able to race a family car too.
Like getting seat time in one of those cars and then going to the truck, does that help you out any, just to give you seat time?
Just seat time in general, I feel like in anything is helpful. So being able to go and run that when I want to or when I need to, I feel like that's always helpful. And with how the truck schedule is, with how many weekends we have off, like this coming weekend's going to be our third weekend in a row, and it's just something to stay fresh in and just be able to make sure when I do get back in the truck that I'm ready.
So do you like the truck series schedule where you have such long droughts of where you're not in the car or not in the truck? From your personal experience.
I do and I don't. I feel like when you're racing every weekend, you can get in a rhythm with what you're racing, and when we have these big long breaks, I'm able to go home. So that's one thing that I do like about it, and go home and race and have some fun. And but once in the truck series, the big thing is rhythm. I feel like just with how everything happens in the races, with how aggressive they are, and just with how aggressive and how cautious you have to be too on the restarts to make sure that nothing happens to your truck. So being able to get in a rhythm is good, but I feel like having an off weekend for the crew guys and over the road guys is also good.
Yeah.
Now you say you guys are right there by GMS, and
yep.
How much do you all work with the GMS group and everything together? Do you all spend a lot of time working together on certain things?
Yeah, they actually give us a lot of support. Them and Chevy, they've been very helpful this year with getting everything going. We're Toyota last year, and then this year we're Chevy. So it's been a good partnership with them, and then also Chevy, and they're definitely helping us. I mean, they've been in the truck series for how long, and they know everything. So it definitely doesn't hurt us with partnering up with them.
How big was the change to go from Toyota to Chevy? I mean, McAnally was huge with Toyota. And how big was that to go from Toyota to Chevy?
For me, it was big, but I feel like both manufacturers are really good. I feel like I had a good relationship with everyone at Toyota, and now I'm building a good relationship with everyone at Chevy. So on my side, it was not easy, but it was something that you got to do. So I was able to turn over quick, I feel like, and now I've been able to work with Josh Wise and Scott Speed with their Chevy driver development program, and I feel like that's been a big step in myself personally on and off the racetrack.
See, Jack, that's a political. See, you can't badmouth either one of them, Jack. You never know when you're going to have to cross that bridge again, right?
Yeah.
Did over at Toyota, did you get to meet Rooster, the guy that drives the bus around for the engineers?
I might have or I might not have. I'm not very good with names.
You would remember. Well, everybody in the cups, well, anybody in the garage has a nickname. Nobody knows anybody by their name. His name's Rooster. If you meet him, you'll know. His real name is Mike. I can't remember his last name.
We got Racing Jason coming on. You know, he works with Carl Long. You have to hear some of the names we got for him, but we can't repeat them.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Well, Derek, we appreciate you spending some time with us tonight. Tell Bill I appreciate him getting you on the show tonight, and we wish you good luck for the rest of the year. And have you got everything worked out for next year, or are you back next year? Or
that's what I want to be. I want to be back with Bill. I've been with him for 6 years now, so it's kind of becoming part of my family, or I'm becoming part of his. But it's been a joy working with him, and it's definitely a lot of fun, and it's something I want to continue to do.
All right, well, when I see Bill, I'm gonna tell him you don't want to leave the family. You want to stay there. He can go ahead and adopt you now.
That's right.
Perfect.
All right, Jack, we appreciate it. Thank you a lot, and appreciate your time, man.
Yep. Thank you guys for having me on.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, Bill McAnally is iconic. I mean, let's be honest. The 16 Napa car is iconic, and to be associated. Especially, I didn't realize he had been driving. I knew he'd been there for a few years, but I didn't realize he'd been there 6 years.
Yeah, he'd been there for a while. He did a lot of West stuff with him.
Right.
Start off with.
But I meant to ask, was that the one that Haley Deegan roughed up a few times?
I'm not going to ask that question. That ain't happening. But it's really cool though. Bill, to be the person that Bill McAnally is. Mm-hmm. Everything he's got going on, his own businesses.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 2 big shops. They do $3.5 million a year in auto repair.
Racing on the West Coast, racing on the East Coast. I mean, he's got 2 shops for racing on both coasts. Both coasts.
Yeah.
And it's because he knew that if he was going to go cup racing or whatever down the road, he had to be on the East Coast with everything.
And then who was it that we
Kevin Bellacourt was the one that got it started.
Right. And he was the team manager there for a while.
Right.
And he had talked very highly of how he just, Bill let him just do his job. As long as he does his job, he didn't, micromanage him, as we've heard some teams will do.
Oh, yeah. I've heard a lot of that here lately.
Yeah.
About speaking of micromanaging, let's see if we can micromanage Jason Hubtaylor on here.
Jason, now look.
How you doing, guys?
When did you get the news today?
I actually got it about 10 minutes after 6 is when I got it. But the explanation was given to me, and I understand it. But, I feel bad for Jeremy and his family. They're great people, and I don't know anything about what happened down there today. But all I do know is that he still gets to keep the trophy, and that's something that I will never get away from him. But it's okay, right?
Yeah. Well, I'd want the trophy, but how does that work? I mean, who called you? I mean, does NASCAR? I mean, I'm sure. Obviously, y'all probably get phone calls before it's officially released.
So actually, I heard it on XM radio on my way home that he had been disqualified, and then we did get a phone call from the director of the series, Wayne Otten, explaining that had that been found at the racetrack, they would have taken the win away from him. But since it was not found at the racetrack, they did not take the win away from him. And the reason being because if they would have found it at the racetrack, my car was still there, and they could have taken the same parts out of my engine or car or whatever the part that was deemed illegal was, and checked mine. But since my car has been home and out of their control, for a number of days now. They do not take the win away from them. They just hand down an L2 penalty, an L2 level penalty to them.
Oh, okay. I thought they took the win away.
That's what I
No,
thought.
sir. No, sir. They will not take the win away from him. They got disqualified. They lost 75 car owner points, 75 team driver points, and $60,000 lighter in the pocketbook today.
Plus they don't get.
And he is not eligible to be in the playoffs.
That's
Right. I mean, and that's 60 grand for a small team like them. I mean, you can relate. That's big. I mean, that's a lot of fun.
That's a big hit. That's a really big hit. That probably hurts a team more like that money hurts that team more than anything else. I think is that money is something we rely on to get down the road, right? That small teams like us rely on that money to keep us going. And that probably would have been a really good shot in the arm from a normal pay to be the winner of the race, and just it didn't come through.
But the thing about it is, Jason, even though you didn't get the win, a second place finish for you guys is huge.
Yeah, I'll just tell you guys the same way I've explained it probably more times than I wanted to over the past couple of days, but this is a bittersweet moment for a guy like myself and a team like MBM Motorsports and Carl Long, right? I know in my heart, and I know on the radio and everything we were doing and trying to get JJ lined up behind us when we come and took that white flag, that it was going to be spectacular. We had a good car. We had the right guy holding the steering wheel. We had a teammate right behind us. We were going to make the back stretch of Daytona right to turn 3 and 4. It was going to be spectacular coming to the line, right? It was, we had definitely enough to get by him, I think. But you think about all that, but you also think, Jeremy could have thrown the famous Joey Logano block, and both cars are up in the fence, and Allmendinger goes on to win the race, and we've got, a pile of sheet metal left at the end. So real bittersweet. I wanted that trophy. Don't get me wrong, Scott. I want that trophy bad. I mean, that's what we all go for. But I also know that I rolled my car in the trailer second place without one scratch on it. Right? I can take it back. I can massage on it. I can learn a couple things from Daytona, and I can go to Talladega and hopefully do it all over again, maybe get one spot better. Maybe it's me that's leading when the caution comes out after the white flag, and it's not Jeremy or it's not AJ, Maybe it's my turn, but my turn's going to come someday. You guys have seen me come from where I was barely making races to now when I can run races like this. So it's my day's going to come.
I was sitting there watching the race, and my wife was there, and I was talking about you in the race. I said, "Now, this is hard to believe." I said, "Here's this guy that I met years ago, and all he did was write on a piece of paper." I mean, he barely knew.
Are you back with the piece of paper now?
No, I got a computer now, bud. I got a computer. We're good.
but he was having a.
You know how look, man. Where were we at? Richmond.
Richmond.
Yeah, everybody else has got big computer screens. They got monitors. We're gonna sit on the pit box with him, and he's got a piece of paper and a pencil.
Hey, do what you got to do,
But
right?
He's figuring out fuel mileage.
falling on a budget.
But Jason, the good thing is you had somebody beside you that was able to tell you 2 + 2 was 4. So
Right, you're lucky. Yeah, I was lucky.
No, but I mean, really, it was a huge deal to see you guys come in second. The top 10 in that race was unbelievable. I mean, guys that don't never even smell the top 10 sometimes. Right. All you guys were right there. Whatever reason it was, you made it there, and it's a good thing. I mean, it was a real good thing.
Everybody will tell you, "Oh man, it's super speedway racing. It's super speedway racing. You just got lucky." Well, if I got lucky, I'll do it every day. Because if you go back and look at that race, I started third at the beginning of the second stage. I ran that car ran inside the top 15 most all night long. We didn't ride around the back. We didn't just wait it out. We didn't whatever everybody, all the naysayers want to say, right? Is we were up there and we were digging hard, and it was our turn, right? I had Timmy Hill behind the wheel of that thing, and he knew he knew what he had to do to be able to see the wrecks coming ahead. He poked out and did what he had to do, and he got us a great finish there. So I was really proud of the effort all the guys put in. It was a chance for all of them to show their hard work, right? We all bust our gut out every day trying to get those things ready to go, and we don't have everything that those big teams have, but I will tell you that I got a shop full of guys, all 5 or 6 of them, right? I got a shop full of guys that make 2 cars go every week that got to show how hard they work at Daytona.
Say, what was it like after the checker flag? I mean, from the team, the ride home, how is Carl doesn't seem like a real excitable person. He seems a very even keel kind of personality.
I will tell you that you guys know Carl very well. You know me very well. We are very passionate people, right? If Carl is wrong, he will defend his wrong all the way to the end. But if Carl is right, he will defend his right all the way to the end, right? I mean, he was very passionate. He was very thankful. It was exciting. We were all pretty excited. And I'll tell you that we, as a small group of guys, there was only a couple of us that have ever seen post-race tech before, right? I mean, it was kind of like, what do we do now? What do we do now? Who's got to be where? And what tools do we need? And so it was, Carl was I think he was more thankful and relieved, as a car owner would be at Daytona when your car rolls across the start finish line and it's all in one piece and everything went well.
Yeah.
But he was very thankful, and he had a team meeting with us Monday morning and thanked us all for our hard work, and it paid off, and he was glad to see that it paid off for us.
You go back and look at Carl Long's history. I mean, all the stuff that the big fine he had years ago, and all the stuff that he's gone through. That had to be. If I was him, I'd probably still be walking around the track at Daytona telling everybody out there second there.
Well, this sport is very humbling. So we all know that last week was last week and we had a great run, but Darlington can humble us in a quick minute, right? Darlington can show us back to the back of the field in a quick second. So we just all had to, set our focus on a different race. And we have to get along. Carl has accomplished many great things in his career. He did a lot of great things, and what many people don't know is the ride that Darrell Waltrip had in his last race was only because Carl got out of the seat of his, right?
Right.
Because he sent Darrell home. He actually got up on the wheel and qualified that thing in at Charlotte, and he sent Darrell home. So Carl is, I think he's a very underestimated guy in the garage. But I think given the right opportunities and given different things, Carl's career would have been a lot different. But he's one of us, right? We're one of him, basically. We just go in and go to work and do the best we can every day, and we're going to give it all we got. And we all know that our day is going to come. You know what I mean? We're going to get it, but if not, we're going to rattle some cages on the way to it.
Is this the best finish for Carl's team?
Best finish for Carl's team, and this has actually been the best year for MBM Motorsports. MBM Motorsports as a whole has 6 top 10s. 3 of them have come this year.
Okay. Wow.
So we're ready, and when I came back over here and started working with Carl, we qualified Timmy 9th at Charlotte, and JJ has been consistently qualifying inside the top 20, racing inside the top 20. The 13 car has been racing inside the top 20. And, I think that Carl's changed his outlook a little bit. And he's definitely stepped up his equipment game. Back when you guys came and see me, we were racing the same car week after week after week. And Carl has gone out. He's got the right stuff and got the right things where we're not working on a car that we have to go race this week and next week. We got 2 or 3 cars ahead, and it's really paid off.
Yeah, I mean, I think a few years ago, I think when I think we were talking to Carl that he had just gotten a pull down rig, and it was a used pull down rig. It hadn't even been set up yet, and I'm like, man, there's late model teams that run. They got a pull down rig,
Right.
and here you got Carl Long and the Xfinity that doesn't have one,
That's awesome.
So to go from that to where you're at now is remarkable.
Yeah, we've definitely come a long ways from when I was at Carl's the first time before I left and had to go cup racing, right?
Yeah.
And went cup racing. But Carl has definitely changed his personal outlook as far as, Carl knows what his position in the team is and what he does. We have a great shop manager in Gary Showalter. He's been around this business forever and ever and ever, right? He's won a lot of races, and I got a great partner crew chief in George Church, who did Jimmy Spencer's deal for many, many years and was at Roush for many, many years. So we've got the right people in place. And the right work ethic in place. So it's been a lot of fun.
Well, congratulations, man. I tell you what, that's a big deal. And I was so excited Saturday night. Friday night. I said, man, this is going to be great. I can't wait to get him on the show. And you know what? I'm even going to contact one of these pen companies so you can get a sponsor with the ink pen.
There you go. That's what I need, bud. I got to keep writing stuff down, because hey, and there's a lot of guys that might say we don't belong there, or that might say second is just a first loser or whatever. But I've told a couple of them it's real easy for you to sit at home at the couch and tell me I should have done a little better.
Oh yeah,
it's real easy. It's real easy for you to sit on the other side of that keyboard and say that we don't belong there because I don't see you there.
That's right.
Then come on out there and work with me for a week and see how much heart I put into it and see how much it hurts when your car doesn't make the race or it gets beat up or you only finish 20th or 25th or even 35th. So it was a great way for me to showcase my guys and our talent, and I'm really excited for what we can do in the future.
Do you guys have any engineer over there?
Engineer, what's that?
Isn't
that a train driver or something?
I thought that was the answer.
Hey, that is awesome.
Come on, man. We ain't got no engineer.
I love an underdog.
I figured, but I had to ask.
You probably got more engineering in that Pro 6 car you got that you don't run than we got.
Hey, wait a minute. You've already showed more in that race the other day than Scott has this whole year. So good.
I ain't made but one race because of my foot, but both of us have finished second.
Hey, when are you going to get that foot fixed?
The 16th.
Perfect. Remember, Jack, I'm taking over while he's gone.
There you go.
I'll give you a holler. We got to get him out of here first.
Yeah, and then we got to get that changed. We got to get his name off the logo too.
That's right. And I got somebody working on that.
Yeah, all right. We'll be good.
So anyway. All right, Jason, appreciate it, man, and congratulations.
Yeah,
congratulations.
We feel like we're not
proud of
team,
you,
but we feel how proud we are of you for all you've accomplished, and congratulations, man.
All right, guys, thank you very much, and I'll talk to you soon, guys.
All right, we'll talk to you later,
buddy.
Good job.
Bye.
Bye.
It's the God's honest truth. When we were there at Richmond, and those guys, like I said, they didn't have a pull down rig. They were using the same car week after week, and we're up on the pit box, and you look over and everybody else has got, they got 5 monitors, right, with computers and engineers, and here you got Jason over there with a pen and a piece of paper. He's writing down, he's like, fuel mileage. Calculate, okay, got so many laps on fuel this lap, and it's like 4 tires.
Yeah.
Right.
We're like, man, you talk about underdogs,
I've always been an underdog. I respect. I'm a root for underdog.
If nothing else happens this year, Jason, he's got to be extremely ecstatic about what he's done.
And he's always been extremely nice to us.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, you can feel the love.
I feel like we're all good friends. I
Oh,
want
for
to
sure.
say we're good friends, and you know, it meant just as much to me to see him win to do the race. Like
And I guess we read the damn thing wrong. I thought they took the race, but it said that the win didn't count for the thing. It didn't say he took it. After he said that, I had to go back and look. I'm like, damn, I thought I saw it. And I was like, oh yeah, they just took the win for the playoffs. So it didn't officially take the win.
Well,
So,
I understand.
I'm glad I didn't put my foot in my mouth and say, congratulations, you won.
Well, I was getting ready to.
I would say a shit and cleaned up the intakes more on the wrap.
Oh yeah. It said intake in the article.
Undercover something, and somebody caught it. Them guys are so smart.
Oh
man,
for sure.
That's just the one thing they caught. They missed probably 5 other things, but
Oh yeah.
Oh, I've heard all the stories about.
But the intake should have been something
it was
fairly
Walter,
easy.
but then they put that gel back in it way back in the day.
Yeah, some kind of race fuel. There's a lot of things.
Petroleum stuff,
But
whatever.
I've sat down and talked with my son, in back in the days when he was in racing, and some of the things they did, you know, you do 5 things to get caught, but the one thing you really want
Right.
you get that by.
Yes, yeah.
So you know, so that's how they do it.
So we had learned in amongst that the 78 team, when they won the championship, was it year? I think it was the year they won the championship, if I'm not mistaken, or it might have been the year after. They would purposely put a bunch of camber or shim the right front out, and they would go through tech. And they were like, "Oh, you got to fix this." And they'd be like, "Oh, okay."
Just get them focused on that.
No, so what would happen is they go back, we'll go back and fix it, and they cheat the rest of the car up, put that back, and they come back over, they just check the one thing, and then put them a good sticker on. And what happened is I think it was Charlotte, the other teams had been watching them and figured out what they were doing, so then they were all just starting to do it.
Yeah. And then Elton Sawyer became the head man in tech, and
That changed.
all that shit changed real fast.
Yeah.
You got to have some sharp mind.
I mean,
Guys.
My son told me when he was the car chief on one of the car on the 51 car, that some of the things they did, and they get in there and you know they get back. All right, we did this, and then they be leaning on the car.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody said, well, that car ain't gonna win no way. So they'll be doing all kinds of stuff, and car gets. Elton Sawyer came in and took over, and this is when he moved over to the 9. Elton Sawyer came in, so they went through there one day, and they caught everything they done. Every single thing they done, Elton and them boys called it and told them, go sit outside. So they rolled the car. Well, normally you can go fix it and roll around. Well, they told them, go sit right over there. And when we get ready, we'll call you. First round of qualifying was getting started, and they still hadn't been still sitting there.
It was being paid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, Elton had it set up to where when you go through a station and your stuff gets checked, you know, usually, okay, you pass this. Before what it would do is you pass this. Oh, okay, you failed that. So you only had to get that checked the second time. Well, Elton changed that. If you don't make it through, you have to go through all the stations again. So all those things got to be checked again. And used to what they would do is like, hey, man, you know, this is wrong. You need to fix it. They would just tell you. No, anymore. There's a tablet at every station. And it's wrote down what you were failed for, why, and what. And the car chief comes over and signs it. So there ain't no, oh, you didn't tell me. Nobody told me. I didn't know what we had to do. Oh, okay. Now, such and such is one sign off on it.
And when you go in that laser room to have your car lasered, when it goes in, it better not come off anything on there because, you know, you're back outside.
And that thing measures. So what do you say? If the body is I forgot how many, about the size of a quarter, I think is what he had said. All of your allowance is up and down. If it's down too much, the color changes to orange. And if it goes up too much, I think it goes to blue, and I forget what color the car is. I mean, it's a 3D scan. So essentially, at the beginning of the year, the manufacturer says, here's our 3D scan. And anything a quarter up and down throughout the whole body is 3D scanned, and I mean, the body isn't. Well, they've made that known
Yeah.
this year that the body is a
The
playing
the
around with the
days-
body is a
The
no.
days of some of the stuff they used to pull, they used to go through them and they had the templates on top of the car. And I remember my son, they went through and they put the template on the car and it was down like that much right there. So he climbed inside with a sledgehammer and beat the top out
Right,
and went on about the business and go ahead on.
right.
So,
right.
that ain't happening no more.
Yeah, or the
Technology
vinyl.
is-
I mean, just like the vinyl on Gibbs stuff a couple weeks ago. I mean, I helped the Xfinity team, and we did that to get to pass templates back then. Of course, we weren't going to win, but those were tricks and stuff that had been done. Which we talked to a retired official, and he was telling some of the stories.
They got disqualified for the wrap on the car for the decal the way they had it on. But the 51 car gets to keep the win with an illegal intake. So what would you think is a bigger?
Well, because it was caught at the racetrack, I think is what the difference is from my understanding. But we had heard too that it was a lot more than just a little bit of.
Just some vinyl.
There was something that nobody will really tell us,
there.
but there was a lot more to that.
There's
to
some more
that
stuff
story.
there under
That's
there.
why they didn't appeal it or any of those type of
Trying to
things.
raise it up. I mean, the thickness of, I don't.
Well, you like you said, you knew if they wasn't going to appeal it, they
Yeah, and what they done is because of where the decal, the way the wrap is on it, there's a vent in the real car, so it's deceiving looking at it. So that's why they put the piece of airplane tape, that real thick, clear stuff underneath of it. And somebody had ratted them out because when they come off the racetrack, the official went over there and pulled it back. Says, "I got you." I mean, it was somebody, they knew it the whole weekend. But I understand that there was a lot more to that, is what we were told in Richmond. There was a lot more to that wasn't released. And what if, you get to know a lot of people in this sport, and then what publicly is told is sometimes a lot different than what really happened. I mean, we had heard a story that I don't know if you remember when Harvick had they had the issue with the back window.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the spoiler.
It was sucking, the window was blowing down.
Right, and the spoiler. Well, they knew he was doing that, and other teams had started doing it. It would pass the test, but they had figured out a way. I don't know exactly how it was done, but they knew that had been going on for a while. He made somebody in NASCAR mad, and they said break it off on him, and that's what happened.
Smart guys, smart. I mean, that's the level of technology. I just think about what goes on out here. You run late model stock. The technology just in those blows my mind.
Oh yeah,
I can't
you can imagine that.
I can't imagine the next.
I mean, the
tiers
things
up,
that late model guys are doing, you figure that's old news for Cup guys. By the time it trickles down to late models, it's they've already on to the next idea.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
They might
a
be
couple
on
years
two of
ago,
them.
They were running all like Bobby McCarty showed up here in the front
Oh,
wheel.
the camera,
Just
yeah.
on
And
his
all that
car,
camber. I
It was
remember.
pushing the wheel out
Yeah.
to make that front wheel out. And they did that for a while, and then now nobody's doing that no more.
Mm-hmm.
That's gone away. They found something else.
Right. Yeah.
And it's you got to try to stay caught up. I think Brendan Queen has the sources to find out and stay on top of all the new technology stuff. I think Justin Carroll, he's done caught up to it with the help he's getting. Greg Everett's got better. But majority of the guys, I mean, they're all stuck right there trying to figure it out.
Yes.
I mean, they can run fast for a while, but
We're just plowing maters and taters, as Greer likes to say.
Yeah.
Tater and mater racing. But the technology, even in those, in the late model, and now it's trickling even to the Sportsman cars. Is 2 years ago, we'd have won a lot more races, and it's the technology and shocks and stuff
and
has even
of course
gone
that drives
over
the
to
cost
the
of
dirt.
racing up too. That's the downside of it, because it makes it difficult for guys like you and me and Roger here to compete. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
so we
sir.
race against the same guys every week. Now there's nobody coming in here. Like Peyton Sellers used to show up, we'd race against him. So it was somebody different. and you were seeing different stuff on their car. We
Right.
only see them at the Hampton Heat now, or the Cars for Race, which nobody really runs at. But
Yeah.
we get to see them at the Hampton Heat. But when they come in on a weekly show, you can learn more from them than you can on a big show
Yeah.
like that, because you have time to look and see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're not gonna walk up to the car and look at it, but you can kind of say, well, how's he doing that? And you park by those guys.
Yeah.
Right, park by.
That's they're gonna pull that front tire off, and everybody's over there taking pictures.
And then sometimes they'll share some information with you.
Yeah, they will. When we ran the 3-link car, Peyton, HC would tell me a lot of stuff that they did with their 3-link car that helped us with this truck on car. I like the 3-link better.
Do you
really?
Yeah.
It's
It's just, well, this car, we haven't got it working like I want it to. So,
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's our show for tonight. Want to thank Roger for being here,
Thank you.
Craig Eastep for being here, Derek Kraus, Racing Jason Hufftail. Man, glad he was here. Next week, we'll have a fun show next week.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought this was the fun one.
Well, it is, but
Every week.
we're going to have Katie Hettinger here next week, the winningest female late model driver at Hickory Motor Speedway.
She's the one who went to the.
She's at Wilkesboro this weekend too. She's going to be with us. We're going to have Brian Crawford's daughter is going to be up here with us next week.
Okay.
JC. This ought to be
Oh,
interesting.
he's already laughing.
okay.
We're going to have Jaden Rayna, who's one of Crest Van Dyke's developmental drivers, and we're going to have the other one, Eric King. He's going to be with us too. So we're going to have, that's going to be our show next week. So it's going to be a little fun next week. JC will be interesting. We'll talk about that later.
All right. Well, that's our show tonight.
Anyway,
Thank you guys. I owe a big gratitude to you guys
No, man.
for this and helping sponsors and bring people on board with us.
That's all you, man.
From y'all doing it for me.
yeah, that's the mafia. Go ahead.
I appreciate it, and everybody that helps us, Moody's and Greer and Associates came over here at the last, and they have really helped us get through the rest of the
Have
year.
you met somebody
And,
that's got a bigger heart than Greer?
No, man, he's floored me, like
And-
blown me, like you. Yeah,
And he's probably
I get
addicted
emotional
more
just
than
thinking
any
about
of
it.
us, really.
He's done a lot. Moody has done a lot. Affordable Transmission has done a lot, always has. But he just came on board. He's like, here, let's do this. And I'm like, huh? What?
Have you got him down to the race yet?
He won't, man. He's that tater-mater mess, man. I ain't doing so. I said, we must start to like it a little bit. You got your name on the car out there now.
That's right.
They ain't messing with that tater-mater racing. So, but just if it wasn't for you guys having me on the show and giving me a platform to do, I wouldn't have had any sponsors. So I thank you, and I ride with you guys on the car always. So
Well,
I appreciate it. I do.
we know something when it's pretty special sometimes. Even though I screwed up and got Scott on my show.
It elevated stuff.
It elevated
I
it.
mean, there was nothing before. It
It
wasn't even a show.
That's right. There wasn't a show till we started the show.
Y'all started the show.
Yeah. But,
Well, y'all definitely had some history, and like I say, I hear y'all's name out there all the time. People tune in and watch, and y'all have a huge following.
you just won't believe how many messages I get during the week. What about this? What about that? Hey, you got a guy where I can come on the show in a week or so.
I mean, it's
Now we don't.
overwhelming.
Now we're not really doing a whole lot of asking. Now, I mean, they're asking us.
That's good off.
Yeah. And I got a story to tell after we get off the air about another one. But anyway.
But anyway, I thank you guys and everybody that's helped us this year, and all the fans and people, and it's a really big deal. We'll see what next year brings, but I have a huge debt of gratitude to you guys. I really do. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome here anytime. But you want to come by and talk and whatever, just come on up. We're here.
I love.
Craig, you got anybody you want to thank before we go besides your doctors?
That's about it. Well, sponsors, Blue Horseshoe Tattoo, Glenn's Maintenance and Mechanical, Extreme Mechanical Services, and Grooms by Tanya.
Well,
Lulu's Hot Dogs, Affordable Mower Doctor, Affordable Transmissions, Piedmont Natural Gas.
wait a minute, I thought you didn't have no sponsors. Now you done named them.
I didn't. That's what I'm saying. Because of y'all, I'm telling you, I never had sponsorship.
Well,
before,
you know what,
and I
man?
really.
You done had Lulu's hot dogs.
Y'all got to go to Chesapeake, man. It's a
Oh,
great
is that
hidden
Indian River
spot.
Road?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a hidden spot, hidden gem of Chesapeake over there in the Indian River section. Check out Lulu's Hot Dogs if you're over there. Indian River,
You know,
right between Virginia Beach and Chesapeake, right
next
there on the
time,
border.
next time we invite you on the show, you need to go by Lulu's before you come over here.
I'll bring you. What you want? Hot sausage, foot long, a snappy dog with crunch.
He likes a foot long.
They have this new one, and it's a jalapeno cheddar dog.
No, I don't want to know that. No, I ain't going there.
But you know, they just always fun. Appreciate everybody out there, all the people who voted for us. Thank you.
Brad Adams said he heard from a friend that it was sterno in the intake.
I believe, Sterno, yeah. Oh,
Greer said hi, and
Greer,
Danny
buddy,
said
brother.
Jack will sponsor you, not
No.
me.
Jack got him sponsors, not Scott.
Oh,
Come on now.
and he said you're the man.
I see my life. We, of course, always thinking about them and
Dave.
Dave, and always sending prayers out to them.
And what's up
the
with my damn
community.
glasses? I can't fucking see. That's plain and simple. I can't see without them, Daddy.
He has a hard time seeing with them.
I got a chance to meet Billy, and he's already done something for us for the graphics. That guy is, thank you, Billy. It's amazing. He made a picture, and I don't know how they do all that stuff
Yeah.
and make you look so professional. So I said, "Who does your marketing?" He's like, "I do, because it looks professional." I thought he's paying thousands of dollars for people to market, for him. And anyway, I appreciate that, Brian Morehouse. Thank you.
Yeah, well, we Brian's all right.
Hey, Danny, I tell you, like Dave says, D's nuts.
I want to go bowling. I want my knee right so I can go bowling with him. I never did get to bowl with
No,
him. So.
you better get your leg right if you want to bowl with
I can do
him.
it now. I can hold it.
Oh,
back
can
and
you?
forth. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So,
You better be able to have some guards on there too. I hear they throw them at you when you get
I
mad.
bet they do. I bet they would be feisty. They would be feistier than you think. No.
All right, well, we appreciate it. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you again next week.
See you guys.
Thank you.